Jiu-Jitsu is watered down, man. Like how Jiu-Jitsu looks now is not the Jiu-Jitsu I remember it to be, you know. I got taught by Hans Ersson. It's my John Danaher back in Sweden, you know. I had a great coach, Professor X we call him. It's just a genius, and I'm blessed to have him there teaching me this stuff since I was very young.
Guys with longer limbs, like Roger Gracie is a perfect example. He's a really tall, long guy. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu players ever. They can do things with those limbs that a shorter person can't do.
You think anybody's gonna jump on stage when you're on?
Some dude could easily.
Dude, you would fucking kill him.
No, there's a lot of people that can kill me. Don't get confused.
No,
I know a lot of them. Dude, I have them in here all the time.
Yeah, I get that, but like I just don't see me doing stand-up talking about family and love, and a dude goes, I hate family and love, I'm gonna jump up there.
No, it's not rational. No,
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, a rational person wouldn't do that, but you're not worried about rational people anyway.
Okay, so say I started to go to a fight gym. Like, where would I start at? Like, what would I do?
I would say you should try jiu-jitsu because it's fun, it's really good exercise, and you'll learn some stuff. Like,
Okay.
you learn how to do it. It's a technique-based art. Whereas, like, say if you like, there's guys that I will do jiu-jitsu sparring, we call rolling.
Okay.
There's guys that I will roll with that are weaker than me, smaller than me, and tap me every time I roll with them. And I'm a black belt.
Okay.
Like, that's reality. Like, if there's guys out there that are 150 pounds that I can roll with that I know will tap me virtually every time we roll because their technique is sharper, they train more often than I am, they're more focused, they're more in the groove.
And you mentioned, I think this is your second black belt that you submitted like this, and you said you're just different, like you said. So what is so different with your pressure and grappling that even these black belts are having trouble with you?
Jiu-Jitsu is watered down, man. Like how Jiu-Jitsu looks now is not the Jiu-Jitsu I remember it to be, you know. I got taught by Hans Ersson. It's my John Danaher back in Sweden, you know. I had a great coach, Professor X we call him. It's just a genius, and I'm blessed to have him there teaching me this stuff since I was very young. And I've been proving this on a high level in jiu-jitsu. I stopped doing jiu-jitsu when I got my purple belt, so I'm still a purple belt. And when I see these people calling themselves a black belt, to be honest, I laugh, you know. Like, they don't do the basics right, everything is flaky, you know. So I'm here to show them what real jiu-jitsu is, and so far you've seen it. This is my second black belt, and I make them tap in the first round.
But do you think we can get a 10x improvement in the amount of power the human body can generate in punching?
No, certainly not 10x. I think you can get incremental improvements, but it's all based entirely on your frame. Like, if you're a person that has very small hands and narrow shoulders, you're kind of screwed. There's not really a lot of room for improvement. You can certainly get incremental improvement in your ability to generate power, but you'll never be able to generate the same kind of power as, say, a guy with a very big frame like Brock Lesnar or Derek Lewis or anyone who has. There's like classic elements that go with being able to generate large amounts of power.
That's right.
Wide shoulders, large hands. There's a lot of characteristics of the human frame itself. Those people, there's only so much power you can generate, and we pretty much know how to do that correctly.
How did this crowd out here feel compared to some of the big arenas that you've recently fought at?
Man, I felt home. I think I performed better. Like, you have two different types of athletes. Some people choke and some people perform. I'm here, the bigger the crowd, the bigger the event, I perform even better. So keep stacking me up on these cards. That's why I said Abu Dhabi. I would love that. I've been fighting in Abu Dhabi twice in Fight Island, and I loved it. So let's go again.
And I guess last for me, I mean, what's the perfect number of fights that you want to get for a year? I mean, now that you've been gone for a bit, are you trying to get as many as you want, or you still want to play it smart and make sure that you have enough preparation for each fight?
Nah, listen, man, I train every day. I'm not that type of guy that goes into camp, out of camp. I just train. So instead of sparring, let's spar inside here, you know, and here's easy. After I choke them out, it's finished, you know. In training, it's way harder. So I'm looking to stay active this year. I'm looking if I can get 2 more fights out, one in Abu Dhabi, and I heard they're going to Sweden too in November. So let's go. That's my home base too. So I want to fight as much as possible this year, and next year, hopefully, another 4 fights.
But just think about it in terms of leverage. Guys with longer limbs, like Roger Gracie is a perfect example. He's a really tall, long guy. He's one of the best jiu-jitsu players ever. They can do things with those limbs that a shorter person can't do in terms of like leverage from joints and stuff like that. There's advantages to every frame. Like there's a guy like Husamar Palhara is a famous like tank of a guy. He's like 5'7", 200 plus pounds, and just rips guys' legs apart. And he uses this like short style to dive in on people's legs and get them in heel hooks and knee bars and rip their legs apart. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
And that style heavily favors being built like a little tank. Whereas like that long, like you're a tall, long guy, you would have like good Darce chokes, good rear nakeds, good arm bars, good triangles. You would have length and leverage with that length, especially with triangles. Because long-legged guys, they can, like sometimes a guy like me with short legs, like I'll get my legs crossed and I have to adjust a lot to be able to cinch up my triangle. Whereas you might be able to just close it up right there. So you'll have like more opportunities for triangles.
And of course, your opponent, his brother, is the champion of this division. Did you view this as a way to kind of send a message knowing that he would be tuning in?
Listen, I had a lot of street fights where they bring their older brother into the game, and try to pick on me, but let his older brother come. If he want to fight me, I know I take care of him too. I don't believe in his jiu-jitsu either. Right now, it looks like Moreno is fighting Figueiredo if he comes down. Let them solve this, and I'm gonna keep climbing the ranks. Like I said, David Vorak looks like he's free, back injury free. Abu Dhabi sounds great to me, That's my people, I'm the Lion of Iraq. I'm the only Iraqi in the UFC, so I'm looking forward to put on a show in front of my people.
Now, if you were a person that really didn't have much power and you had a box with Deontay Wilder and you were both of the same age and you were a person that knew boxing and you stood in front of Deontay, it's entirely possible that Deontay Wilder could knock you into another dimension, even though he had no experience in boxing. If he just held on to you and hit you with a haymaker, he might be able to put you out. If you're a person who is, let's say, built like you, a guy who exercises, who's strong, and then there's someone who's identically built like you, who's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you don't have any experience in martial arts at all, you're fucked. Right?
Yes.
If
absolutely.
you're a person who's built like you, who's a guy who exercises and is healthy, and you grapple with a guy who's even stronger than you and bigger than you, but he has no experience in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's still fucked.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's why I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo and wrestling in particular, those are absolutes in that you have control of the body.
Yes.
And once you grab a hold of a person's body, there's no lucky triangle chokes in Jiu-Jitsu.